We have the Vice President, who is also the President-elect of the Law Society. We have Council Member Mwaura Kabata, who is also the Vice President-elect of the Law Society. We have just concluded our elections, and those were the officials that were elected to steer the society together with other council members for the next term beginning 22nd of March, when I officially hand over to the incoming team. We have called this press conference so that we can address certain issues we have noticed over the past 1 week with regards to the rule of law that has got the Council of the Law Society of Kenya extremely concerned in terms of the direction that the country is taking with regards to complying with court orders, and also the manner in which the police have handled several demonstrations in total disregard of the law, in circumstances that point to us that there appears to be an informal policy on the part of the government that it will disregard the law and the Constitution, and that it will disregard any court orders that it does not agree with. So I will invite the President-elect of the Law Society to read the statement, together with the Vice President-elect to read the statement that we have, and if there are any questions, we will take those questions thereafter. Right, President.
So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Faith Odhiambo, and we make this statement at the backdrop of the advisory that was issued by the Attorney General, raising concern and also directing KRA to comply with the court orders as is. So on the 29th of November 2023, the High Court at Nairobi rendered a decision in the consolidated petitions challenging the enactment of Section 84 of the Finance Act 2023 that introduced the housing levy and declared the said section unconstitutional. The High Court granted interim orders of stay of execution that were to lapse on 10th of January 2024 to enable the state to file an application for stay of execution at the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal considered the application, and on the 26th of January 2024 dismissed the application, thereby meaning that the declaration of unconstitutionality came into force, and that Section 84 of the Finance Act has no force of law. It has come to our attention that the Kenya Revenue Authority and other government agencies have, despite the declaration of Section 84 as being unconstitutional, have continued to deduct and remit to the Kenya Revenue Authority the housing levy. There is no legal basis to deduct the housing levy, and this action amounts to contempt of court and arbitrary imposition of tax. The Law Society of Kenya shall immediately commence contempt of court proceedings against the Commissioner General of the Kenya Revenue Authority, as well as against all accounting officers and employers who have unlawfully deducted the housing levy. We call upon all employees who have suffered this illegal deduction to get in touch with the Law Society through our email address, and we will share the same, and share their salary pay slips to facilitate the filing of the application seeking refund of the illegally deducted dues. The pay slips will be redacted to conceal identity details that can be used to identify and possibly punish any employees that furnish us with such details.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press. My name is Mwaura Kabata. I am a council member with the Law Society. We further implore the Kenya Revenue Authority and other accounting officers to take note that currently there is no law authorizing the implementation of the Housing Levy. Taxes cannot be collected in the absence of an enabling legislation. The disregard of court orders will, if unchecked, lead to a breakdown of law and order. We remind the government that it has an obligation to ensure that the rule of law is promoted and not compromised. The Law Society of Kenya wishes to also condemn, in the strongest terms possible, the willful disregard to the law being demonstrated by government agencies. On Thursday, 29th February 2024, officials and members of the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union led medical interns in a peaceful protest over delayed posting of medical interns and payment of fees for postgraduate students. The police responded by deploying disproportionate force against the protesters, leading to the shooting of KPMDU Secretary General Davji Atela with a tear gas canister and occasioning serious injuries to other innocent protesters. The Law Society of Kenya notes with concern the disregard by the police of their constitutional duty, violation of rights to protest, and disproportionate use of force. LSK will join in solidarity with KMPDU in taking all necessary action to ensure justice is served for Dr. Davji. We demand that the Inspector General of Police and IPOA take immediate steps to hold the rogue individuals who committed this heinous attack personally liable. We note with concern that this comes against the backdrop of live bullets being used against members of the Law Society during a protest in Nakuru County last month. It is disconcerting that the police appear to have taken a path of using force against professional bodies seeking to protect the rights and interests of their members and the people of Kenya. These sustained malicious acts are an outright abrogation of the police's constitutional duty under Article 244C of the Constitution of Kenya. It would appear from the above incidents that there is an informal government policy to disregard the obedience of law and regard to court orders the government does not agree with. We are concerned that unless this trend is checked, the country is likely to roll back the democratic gains that we have made so far. That is all.
That marks the official statement of the Law Society of Kenya, and we wish to reiterate that this is a country that is ruled by the rule of law and not the rule of man. We have given ourselves a constitution, and the president and all the officers in government have taken an oath to protect the Constitution of Kenya. We are therefore worried when we see a trend emerging within government where court orders are not complied with, and where whenever Kenyans are exercising their rights, including the right to peacefully protest, that the police appear to be using excessive force. This can only lead us to one conclusion, that there is an informal government policy to restrict the rights of Kenyans. There is a government policy not to comply with court orders that the government does not agree with. And we are concerned that if we continue in this manner, then the administration of law going to courts will lose meaning, and it will get to a point where ordinary members of the public will decide to take law into their own hands to deal with situations or any conflicts that they may have. And we want to take this very, very early opportunity to urge the government to desist from this willful disobedience of court orders, from this willful disobedience and disregard of the provisions of the Constitution and the law for the sake of all of us. So if there are any questions, we can take the questions now.